Hey, how's everybody doing? Brother Phil here. I wanted to come on and talk about this blood moon that we just had yesterday. Just wanted to sort of talk about the time between the blood moon and the UN meeting and the Feast of Trumpets. And I wanted to cover the like the time between the two uh, dates, the September 7th and September 23rd. And like a lot of people are using chat until it becomes full blown evil. We're using it to do our calculations. And I was sitting in the park just wondering what's the time period between September 7th? I mean, simple math, September 7th and September 23rd. Just to be on the safe side, I asked the chat to tell me between the days, it's 16. If you count the day of uh, the 23rd, you get 17, 17 days in between. So you get 16 if you're not counting, I think it's not counting the 23rd, but you get 17 if you're counting both dates, 7th and the 23rd. So the number 17 is 10 plus 7. So it says 7 represents spiritual perfection, completeness, and covenant. It says the 17th of Nisan was when the Ark of Noah rested on Mount Ararat after the flood. Genesis 8-4, symbolizing deliverance and new beginnings. Joseph was 17 years old when he was sold by his brother, Genesis 37:2, beginning the trials that would eventually lead to his exhaustion and saving of his family. Okay, says Paul listed 17 works of the flesh in Galatians chapter 5, verse 19 to 21, contrast with the fruits of the Spirit showing victory over sin. Meaning of number 17 points to triumph, resurrection, victory over enemy, and new beginnings in God's plan. So the number 17 in the Bible is 10 plus 7. We know 7 is the number of completion, and 10 is the number of judgment. The blood moon was not there by accident, neither will the eclipse be there as well on the 23rd, they think it is, people think it is. And it will cover a large percentage of the world's population as well, just like the blood moon did on September 7th. Now, they have voted today to continue the conversation of the Palestinian statehood. Now, all my times of studying Bible prophecy, I never saw a UN meeting being all the nations are gathered against Israel. I always saw that as a war or military surrounding Israel. But now that I see that is all the nations of the world minus two coming up against Israel in these final days. Now, this is different from what I thought over the years. I've had many different ideas of how this time would turn out. And I never thought in a million years it'd be a UN meeting with all the nations of the world at one time coming against Israel. And this has been speeding up in the last 90 to 60 days, or 60 to 90 days, has been really speeding up. The hatred for Israel is starting to go off the charts. So there's a lot of people saying, scoffing and mocking and saying, this is not the time period. But the more I have time to kind of just talk to God and hang out in the park and think about, my life and how God's worked in my life and how he's revealed this specific things to me, and everyone out there who is having dreams and visions. And I just see um, the time is short. Um, the time is really short. The time is not for us to be spinning our wheels. Now, if you're going to spend quiet time with Christ, don't get that mixed up with not doing anything. Because if you're at the feet of Jesus, like Mary was, that's still, seeking the Lord. So I'm not saying that's not. We need to do that in these last days. Seek the face of the Lord, but we also need to get up and go and speak to the nations and speak to the people, and warn them. Okay. Um, so I see um, the nations coming up with some type of agreement. Now, if you go back to this time last year, September, they begin working on the summit of the future. They started making arrangements for the summit of the future. So way back then, we kind of knew that we had another year at least. And so, you saw the UN getting ready for that summit of the future and over time. So now, fast forward a year, now you see it coming off the pages. You see it coming off the news. You see it coming off of, especially if you go and to foreign news, and they're talking more about, Palestinian statehood and Israel, how they mistreating the people of the Gaza Strip and all this other stuff. You can see it developing pretty evenly now that we're getting closer to that time. Anyway, I just thought I'll come on and add that little 2 cents in. This is probably going to be what I'll be doing. Is warning that the sword is coming, that the day of the Lord is coming, judgment is coming to the world, to the United States definitely. Um, I think what's going to save the United States for an additional couple of more weeks is sustaining our vote or not having any participation in the discussions to divide Israel, and that's probably give us a little bit more, couple more weeks. But I believe by the time the Antichrist comes and conforms a covenant, if it's this year, sometime in October, then the United States will probably fold by then and sell Israel down the pike. Especially when Russia invades Israel and they say, "Have you come to take a spoil?" It says the merchants of Tarshish and its cubs. We are the cubs. Well, along with Australia, Canada, India, it says there at one point that the sun never go down on the British Empire, and we came from the British Empire, so we are the cubs. So you can see it happening right now. Anyway, God bless you guys, and I'll see y'all later. I keep doing videos. God bless.